everyone, it's Ateez here. Welcome to my channel, where today I am probably triggering some stans. I don't know. We'll see how this is received, but I'm starting a sister series to my Why It Went Viral series. So instead of talking about why something went viral, I'm talking about songs that either flopped or got mass hate because I feel like they're kind of two sides of the same coin. And I figured where better to start than with Itzy sneakers because wow, it was such a mess. But before we start, disclaimer time. This is not me justifying any hate thrown at the Itzy members. I'm just examining a few of the reasons as to why the song wasn't well received in hopes that maybe we can all learn something here and be a little more mindful about the way that we react to future releases. Disliking certain types of music is okay. Critically looking at music and marketing is okay. Hating on the artists as people is not. So know the difference. Okay, now let's get into it. Itzy is known to many as the noisy fourth-gen girl group. The main hallmark of throwing random noises in their instrumentals and somehow making it work is pretty much their brand at this point, and leading up to Sneakers, people had started taking them more seriously. Their previous release, Loco, came out in September of 2021 to a pretty positive reception from people both inside and outside the fan base. A lot of people were saying that it was their best title track since debut, and Itzy followed it up with a Japanese release in March of 2022. Voltage was incredibly well received for a Japanese release, and people were very excited to see what was next. Expectations were high, and, well, that was not for the best because June rolled around, Sneakers dropped, and almost everyone hated it immediately. Buckle up for this one. Listen, if you were there for Sneakers, I don't have to explain anything about the marketing to you because everyone and their mother was losing their minds over this. If you weren't there, this is how bad it was. People literally thought it was a prank. Yeah, there was an entire group of people, not a small group, no, a very large one actually, that was convinced that some sort of switcheroo was going to happen. And honestly, I can't say that I blame them. Because imagine seeing this and getting so excited for a sophisticated, royal concept just to see this drop days later. This is just about the stupidest and cruelest thing that JYP could have done to Itzy and their fans. It's borderline self-sabotage. I hope that whoever made this decision got demoted because what marketing professional thought that this was a good idea? And that's not even where it ends, because someone also thought that it would be a great idea to spoil the entire chorus on TikTok ahead of the release. And not just like a small bit ahead. No, this was over a week in advance. Like, I don't have TikTok, but I can find some snippets on YouTube posted as early as July 2nd when the full release wasn't even till the 14th. I just horrid. Absolutely horrid marketing. There's no reason to spoil the main section of your song 12 days in advance. Honestly, the concept could have worked. Is something that I would have said if they had done it 2 years earlier. Because here's the thing. This would have matched their rookie concept perfectly. But Itzy has changed a lot since their Dalla Dalla days. And Sneakers just doesn't fit their current brand, which leans a lot more heavily into girl crush than teen crush. Wannabe is what went viral and got a lot of eyes on them, but I would argue that Mafia in the Morning is what solidified the creative direction that people wanted to see Itzy take in the future. After Wannabe, people started vocalizing complaints about how their concept felt like it was stagnating. After all, there's only so many ways to say, I'm going to be myself and love myself without your audience getting a little bored. Itzy needed a new angle, and they kind of tried it with Not Shy to lukewarm reception and many whispers of pick me floating around. However, Mafia in the Morning was another ballgame entirely. This was the first time Itzy abandoned their teen crush concept and went full girl crush. And the vast majority of people loved it. I think people wanted to see Itzy do a more mature concept, and they got what they wanted. Seeing the positive reception of Mafia in the Morning, Itzy stuck with Girl Crush for their next few releases. Both following comebacks, Loco and Voltage were resolutely girl crush with more serious tones than their rookie releases, but still with distinct enough styles to separate them from Mafia in the Morning. In fact, many people were saying that Loco was Itzy's best yet. Some people still say that it's their best, and Voltage did just about as well as a Japanese release can do in K-pop. Point is, in their several releases between Mafia in the Morning, which came out in April of 2021, and Voltage, which came out in March of 2022, Itzy had been doing hardcore girl crush for about a year. They had pretty much abandoned their original teen crush I Love Me concept and went a more mature route, so fans were already expecting more of this. Throw in the curveball marketing, and it's not hard to imagine how fans felt like they had the rug pulled out from under their feet. Yeah, so with the whole switch to a brighter concept came a brighter switch with the styling, except half the time the stylists understood that and half the time they really didn't. The styling for this era felt very hot and cold because on one hand you had outfits like these that, in my personal opinion, totally understood the assignment. But then on the other hand you had these which, what? Why? It just felt like the era of missed opportunities to me on almost every front. The hair seemed super plain to me, which is weird because they usually kill it in that department. Like, all the way from Dalla Dalla to Loco, we had iconic looks like these. There was always some sort of color or style that set at least one of the members apart. Loco in particular went hard in that regard, which is why I think it was kind of disappointing to go from this to this. Sneakers just doesn't have a lot going on there. All their hair is long, there aren't any braids or buns except for this one time with Leah, which you can hardly see because she's always in the corner, and this is literally the best screenshot I could get from the entire video. And the only color we get are these little purplish streaks in Yeji's hair that show up like once. None of it demands attention the way that Itzy normally does. Another thing I wish they would have done is made their shoes cooler, like here. I mean, the song is literally titled Sneakers, and the shoes are like the main focus of the chorus's choreography. They should have taken advantage of that more and made the footwear the focal point of the outfit. There are so many outfits where their shoes are just there, and I feel like it could have been so much more. Like, give them more of those crazy chunky soles or platform shoes, or blend different shoe types with sneakers and have them wear something like these. I don't know. I will not pretend to know fashion in any way because let's be real, your girl's closet is mostly t-shirts. But what I do know is that nothing is considered too far in K-pop styling. It popped up a couple times in the music video, but I don't think it ever showed up on their stages. The stylists could have made this work. And don't give me the whole, but they wouldn't have been able to dance in weird shoes, because this is Itzy that we're talking about, and this is probably one of their easiest choreographies. We have more faith in the girls than that, okay? I just feel like they could have really pushed some fun boundaries here and done some really cool experimenting, but they just didn't. There was so much potential to make this era's styling absolutely iconic, and I think they just really missed an opportunity here. Looking at the music video, what really stands out to me is how disjointed it is compared to all of their other releases. Like, there are these 3 main sets, and they all appear 1, 2, 3. And they never mix together, except for literally the last 20 seconds of the music video. I don't know about you, but to me, that screams, we didn't plan this out very well. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were trying to send a message by having these 3 very different settings all have their specific space and then having them all mixed together at the end. But even then, it still failed because I can't glean what that message is supposed to be, and it all comes out looking much more stiff than their music videos usually are. Let's compare to Loco's music video, which is much more dynamic. We start with this awesome lit up heart set at 8 seconds, and it comes back at 45 seconds, 49 seconds, a minute and 16 seconds, a minute and 44 seconds, and 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And that is just the one set. They do that with all but one of their sets throughout the video, and the one exception is the final set that they use to make a big bang at the end. So we know that they can easily intertwine their sets to create a cohesive video, and that's partially what makes this so frustrating. We know that they can do better because we've seen it. It just didn't happen this time. Another side note while we're here, because I didn't really know where else to put it, I wanted to point out the lack of a dance break as well, because that's something very notable for Itzy. They're famous for their killer dance breaks, or at least having a section somewhere that is slightly more dance intensive, so that lack of a back-breaking choreography moment is felt for sure. So this is probably getting deeper than most people care, but first off, it's me, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about it anyways. And second, I think a lot of people picked up on this subconsciously, but just never really recognized it. The instrumental for Sneakers is very stagnant, which is something I never thought I would be saying about an Itzy song, but here we are. Throughout the song, the bass line is barely there, and it never really changes except for in the pre-chorus where it cuts out entirely, and in the bridge, which, I would certainly hope that the different sections of your song sound different, but across the entire song, it is largely the same. The chorus actually has a lot going on rhythm-wise, but it all sits high in pitch and similar in timbre, which makes it all kind of blur together. It's all twinkling tambourine and high snare, and the only bass line is the warpy bounce, which you can barely hear over all the noise. We'll compare to Loco again because there's some interesting insights here, and let's be real, I just want another excuse to listen to Loco instead of Sneakers while making this video. Loco's chorus relies on its Latin beat to drive the rhythm, but it still manages to be more compelling because of the contrast between everything. On a spectrum of pitch, you have the super light hi-hats, the slightly fuller clapping, and then what I think is, or at least sounds like, guitar acting as another melody, bass drum, and a warpy bass line that is incredibly similar to the one in Sneakers, actually. On top of that, there's these hits of brass that come in every few measures just to add another punch. Looking at Loco's post-chorus, there is also a ton of contrast here to spice up the song's structure. They throw out almost the entire instrumental and move into halftime with the pulsing bass driving the tempo and the horn melody filling the empty space that they've created. Other than some occasional snare hits, there's not much there, and that's purposeful. It breaks up the fast pace of the song and allows the listener to breathe for a little bit. Sneakers, on the other hand, doesn't even have a post-chorus, which is really weird for Itzy because they usually do in their title tracks, and it's usually my favorite part of their songs, so yeah, that might be another reason why it seems blander or flatter than their other stuff. So that's what I have for why Itzy Sneakers was hated. I was going to include a short section also talking about Boys Like You, but I just kept finding more things that I wanted to talk about, and I don't think there's enough time to get through all of that, so maybe that's another video for another day. But that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Sneakers in the comments below. Did you notice anything that really hurt its reputation that I didn't point out, or are you on the opposite end of the spectrum and you loved Sneakers? If so, why? I want to hear what you guys have to say, but I do have one request. Please try to be more creative than just saying, yeah, it sucked, because I would like to have an actual intelligent conversation here. Thank you. Also, if you liked the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel as it really helps me out. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye!